Hey everybody, it's 8:30. That means it's time for Cocktails in the War Room. We do this every night at 8:30. I believe this is episode 49 in a row. Crazy. How are you? I'm Mistress Carrie. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. What's up, Madeline? Hey, Danielle. What's going on, Scott? Thanks for hanging out with me. I decided because it was so warm out today. Hey, Danielle, I'm good. What's going on, Hillary? Hey, Cassie, I decided I'm hitting the limoncello again tonight. It was so nice outside, and I don't know, it just feels like summer, and I'm now on a limoncello kick. So there you go. So cheers, everybody. How are you? What's up, Melanie? Hey, Tracy. What's going on, Jeannie? Hillary says, my hair is on fleek. Really? I think it's holding up pretty good considering I have not been able to see my darling Linda, my hairdresser. Eric says, evening, we made a fire pit. I hope you guys are sitting out by it right now, and I'm hanging out with you by the fire pit. Maybe we'll do cocktails in the cantina one of these times. I'll go and sit out by my fire pit because that would be really nice. It's a little chilly tonight, so perfect to be around a fire. Ash says, it was a good day today. How about you? Today was a good day. I made a lot of progress on some... Ooh, there's some barking going on. I made a lot of progress on some projects around the house, and I feel really good. So, what's up, Roberto? Hey, Chris. What's going on, Mark? Oh, I know it's a compliment, Hillary. I know what on fleek means. I'm hip to the lingo. Hillary's a teacher, so she's around all of the cool kids all the time, so she's down on the lingo all the time. Cheers. Hey, Tim. Hey, Kelly. So like the description of this video says, I can't believe it's been this long. Wednesday, come here and say hi to everybody and stop freaking barking. Come here. Wednesday, come here and say hi. Oh, she is just wound up tonight. And she's got her best pal, Zero, here too. So we're having like a, Wednesday, come here. Come here. Come and see me. Say hi to everybody. Nope, she just did a drive-by. Wednesday. No, she's just barking at something. I don't know. Anyway, I can't believe it was 9 years ago today. Today is the 9th anniversary of the Bin Laden raid. Can you believe that? Come here, Wednesday. She's just staring at me right now. Come here. Come here and see me. What's the matter? Can you hear her running around? I can't believe it was 9 years ago tonight. Now, of course, the news hit pretty late here in the U.S. I remember I was laying on the couch, and all of a sudden the news broke in that it had happened. And I sat bolt upright on the couch and was like, what? Couldn't believe it. So the Bin Laden raid is, you know, what people call it for shorthand, but it's called Operation Neptune Spear. And, you know, of course, everybody knows that was kind of when everyone found out who SEAL Team 6 were. And it's also when we found out that there was a dog that was on the mission as well. The dog's name was Cairo. Cairo died on April 2nd of 2015, but he was the canine and the subject of a book that his handler wrote about him called No Ordinary Dog, which I didn't know was the subject of a book, and that is a book that I need to have in the war room. We were talking about all of the books the other day. I need to have that book in the war room. So, to all of our service members, to everyone that served since 9/11. Today is one of those days where you actually get to celebrate without any fear of being considered cruel that you get to celebrate someone's death. And we don't get to do that very often, dancing on someone's grave. But if anyone has ever deserved a little party at the celebration of their untimely demise, cheers to you. I'm not going to cheers to Osama bin Laden. I'm going to cheers to all of our troops. I'm going to cheers to SEAL Team 6. And I'm going to cheers to Cairo, because just the things that I've read about that dog, balls as big as church bells, sparking wildfires as he dragged them down the street. Unbelievable. So, cheers. Now, of course, Rich, yes, all of our veterans since 9/11 and before. But I think anyone that was old enough to kind of remember 9/11 and what that day meant, just the amount of bravery that it took all of those people on September 12th to enlist. A whole generation has been changed because of it. And so this day is worth celebrating as well. So cheers to all of you guys. Somebody tweeted at me earlier today a picture of all of these DVDs of all of these war movies. And they were like, me and my dad are arguing about which one we should watch today. And Zero Dark 30 was in there. And I'm like, I mean, kind of obvious. I wanted to send a bomb. I didn't want to send you and your Velcro and your bullshit. That's my favorite line in pretty much the whole movie. Hilarious. Anyway, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that movie yet, Bin Laden dies in the end. So cheers. Happy anniversary, everybody. Limoncello was a good idea. It's so freaking good. All right, I have somber news to tell you. If you have been a rock fan in the city of Boston, you've been on Comm Ave and you've probably been to Great Scott, and they announced that they are not going to reopen when all of the restrictions start to let up because of the coronavirus. And so this is kind of one of the first casualties in the rock world anywhere of establishments. And in Boston and the surrounding areas, we really don't have that many to call our own. But Great Scott is closing after 44 years. The place was an institution, and I am so sad that we're losing it. I know I've been there several times. I can't really remember the bands that I saw there. I think I saw Sponge there, if I remember correctly. Eric says, that was me and my dad arguing. Well, Eric, how could you not know to watch Zero Dark 30 today? Seriously. Yes, I know, Ashley. I know people are saying that the movie's terrible and whatever, but it's the only kind of movie we have about today, technically. So, yeah, I'm really bummed out that Great Scott is closing. I mean, we know that the virus and everything is, you know, really hurting bars, restaurants. You know, it's hurting all the musicians and the venues especially, but to hear that one's not going to come back just makes me really sad. So to Great Scott, ooh, hold on. It's going to be one of those nights, I think. To all of the bands, the staff, to all of the people that have staggered down Comm Ave after leaving Great Scott for the last 44 years. Cheers to another Boston institution gone. Did you guys see the video of the mountain today? Wednesday. Come here. We were just talking about a doggy. Do you want to come here and talk about Cairo? Come on. What's this? Come here. Come here. She's standing right there. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. Come on. There she is. My co-host made an appearance. Come over here. Come here. Stop being so shy. You're the ham of this crew. There she is. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. Do you want to have like a cookie or a bone in honor of Cairo? What do you guys think? Could Wednesday have handled the Bin Laden raid? Probably not, right? It's not your job to be vicious. It's just your job to be a snuggle bug. Huh. Do you want to say hi? Come here. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Here. Sit like we do when we watch TV. There you go. There you go. See? This is how we watch TV, isn't it? Sometimes we rock back and forth. Don't be scared. It's just a light. She doesn't like the light. I like the light, but she doesn't like the light. Okay. You want to just chill with me? You like that better? Okay. So did you guys see the video of the mountain? I'm not talking about like a scenic mountain that you climb. I'm talking about the giant mountain of a man that lifted 1,104 pounds today. Talking about balls as big as church bells. Did you see this video? He doesn't even look human. He looks like a cartoon character or something out of an Avengers movie. It's not even right. He deadlifted 1,104 pounds. And it didn't even look like it was hard for him. He just made some grunts, got all psyched up, and like, it looked fake at first. And he steps up to it and he's like, "Roar," and I'm like, if you haven't seen the video, just, you gotta watch this video. It's crazy how big he is. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know how you lift 1,104 pounds. I don't know. Something else that you guys might take as evidence that the world is ending. Like it wasn't enough that the Robinson brothers got back together, that WAF went off the air, that St. Patrick's Day gets canceled, and then Tom Brady announces that he's leaving on the same freaking day, and then the marathon is postponed, and we're all locked in the house, and it's basically the end of the world. They're calling them monster hornets or murder hornets. That's what they're calling them. Murder hornets. They're this fucking big. And they have come to the United States. I'm not kidding. I saw a picture today of a guy with one of these murder hornets like on his shirt, so you could tell how big the friggin' thing was. They made it to Washington State. They attack honeybees by decapitating honeybees and eating their babies. Murder hornets. They are the scariest. Forget the coronavirus. If you see this thing, you'll be like, I'll take the quarantine. I'm not leaving the house for 14 days. You want me to wear a mask? No problem. A full body mask. I'm telling you, the murder hornets are. Did you see that, Mark? Yeah. Janet's like, what? I'm not kidding. Go and look at the freaking murder hornets. And Face Police, just talking about the bugs is making me itchy. Murder hornets, Steven, I'm not kidding. Yes, and then Gronk went to Tampa Bay. I know, we get it. It's Trish says they're huge. Eric says time to get out the flamethrower. It's so scary. Will, exactly, another sign of the apocalypse. Never mind the UFOs that, oh, by the way, the Pentagon just happened to slip by on a Tuesday that are real. And now we got to deal with these forget the locusts in the Bible. It's the hornets. They're this fucking big. Yes, Murder Hornets does sound like a great band name, Robert. And Mike Shue, if you check his Twitter, he usually predicts whether they're playing upstairs or downstairs at the Middle East. I would venture to guess that the Murder Hornets get to play downstairs. That's just my prediction. You would have to ask him. Can't touch your face, Daniel. Yes, I can. I'm home quarantined. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Oh, good God. I am never leaving the house ever fucking again, says Annette. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Exactly. They decapitate the honeybees and eat their babies. There you go. That makes me just want to drink. It is a great band name. It's friggin' great. Murder Hornets. Somebody better take that. I mean, there's a lot of musicians. They're quarantined right now in their garages looking for inspiration. There it is. We're laying it up for you. Murder Hornets. Did you see the guy that got arrested for squatting at Disney? He basically broke into a closed Disney World set up like a tent and has been living in there by himself, which first of all is kind of brilliant because the place is so big. How much staff do they actually have there walking around? I mean, he finally did get caught, but it kind of sounds like if we were in an actual apocalyptic movie, it kind of sounds like it's got a huge fence. There's plenty of food laying around. You could just hold up in Cinderella's castle and kind of wait it out. It's kind of genius, although he did get caught. So today is also the first Saturday in May. Do you know what that means? Does anybody know what the first Saturday in May is? Just wondering if any of you guys did this today or not. Murder hornets from outer space, says Monica. Today is World Naked Gardening Day. Did you guys naked garden today? I mean, the black flies are a bitch around here right now, so if you did, good on you. Looking at the hornet photo now, holy balls. Look, there's one thing I'm not going to do here in the war room. I'm not going to friggin' lie to you. When I tell you something scared me shitless, I'm not kidding. The hornet is huge, and it bites the head off those cute, fuzzy little honeybees that fall asleep in the flowers with pollen all over their butts. It rips their heads off and eats their babies. Can we do something about the murder hornets, please? The Kentucky Turtle Derby. Please tell me that's a real thing. May Day was yesterday, right? Today is Naked World Gardening Day, right? Hold on. Yeah, I wrote it down. The first Saturday in May is World Naked Gardening Day. So there you go. I hope you guys were out gardening naked today, although if the murder hornets were on the East Coast as opposed to the West Coast, you wouldn't be going outside unless you had a suit of freaking armor. Tammy says, no social media or news today. It felt fan-fucking-tastic until the murder hornets. I'm sorry to ruin it for you, but you guys need to know this shit. You don't have to watch the news all day. You just know that at 8:30, if you hang out with me in the war room, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know. And then I'm going to get drunk with you, which is what the people should do on the news, but they're not. Like, wouldn't it be great if, like back in the day, like Tom Brokaw just bellied up to the anchor desk, pulled out a bottle of limoncello and was like, let's do this shit, guys. Let's talk about the greatest generation for 5 minutes. But he never did. And we're all the worse for it. I told you I'm wound up tonight. Planting my beans, says Eric. Death to the murder hornet, says Patricia. Oh, wait, hold on. Somebody's talking about the turtles. Yes, 8 turtles placed in a circle. First one out is the winner. We really need sports. I mean, if we're getting to the point where we're starting to race fucking turtles, like somebody's got to give us a sport. We'll watch Japanese baseball over that. Like there's got to be something to do today. Teddy says I was working today. Thank you for being essential, Teddy. We appreciate it. I don't think my neighbors would appreciate that, says Patricia, the World Naked Gardening Day. I didn't think my neighbors would appreciate it either. So I did not garden naked today. Although I did get a lot done around the house, which was really good. Full hazmat attire. Exactly. CJ says, Mistress Carrie is real news. That's how you know the end is near. When you guys are like, we're getting our news from Mistress Carrie on Facebook in the war room with a cocktail. No problem. All right, speaking of like news, just to get like the official stuff out of the way, as far as United States cases go, we're up to 1,126,519 cases confirmed here in the United States. We've lost 66,051 fellow Americans. Here in Massachusetts, they have tested 298,994 people, with 66,263 cases confirmed and 3,846 fatalities. That is what's confirmed right now. Of course, you're supposed to be wearing your mask in public. It is now required by the governor. I wanted to show you. This does not count as the artifact from the war room, by the way. I wanted to show you the gift that I got from Camp Lejeune today. Hold on, I have to make sure that I can wear it properly. This is for, it's hard to drink the cocktail in the war room, but I got a present from the Marines. What do you guys think? Not bad. There is a degree of difficulty in wearing these masks with lipstick on, though, I'll tell you. The lipstick industry has got to be taking it in the ass right now because you can't wear lipstick and then, you know, I mean, why bother, first of all? And second of all, it's just smearing all over everything, which is already a problem. So thank you for my gift, Marines down in North Carolina. I appreciate it. A little 550 cord action. It smells like marine. And perfect for the war room. So there you go. I wanted to show you guys. It's pretty badass. Kathy says, wow, my kid is a lieutenant in Camp Lejeune. That is fantastic. Lou says, no sheet. This mask thing is no joke. Ashley says, donate convalescent plasma if you have recovered from corona. It's helping people in the hospital. Kathy says, I had a huge friggin' wasp in my house yesterday, not knowing these wasps only made it to Washington State so far. So I think we got about 3,000 miles between us and the murder hornets as of right now. You only have to do half makeup right now, says Brianna. I know, you just have to do it like here. Let's see. Love your concert shirt, by the way. I told you, I have how many freaking Black Crow shirts from that whole time between Shake Your Money Maker, Southern Harmony, and Amorica. Like, those years were very formative years for me with music. Smells like crayon, says David. Color Stay lipstick is not going to stay on under a mask, Colleen. I don't care how good the lipstick is. Lou says, you know what Marines smell like? Yeah, they smell like freedom. Hoorah, right? Yes, I've been to many a Marine ball. I know exactly what they smell like. It's pretty cool. Is this gonna freak people out when I go to Home Depot? Should be all right, right? So yeah, so I don't know which venue this shirt is from, because it says Boston on the back, but as we all know, you know, a lot of bands put Boston even though they're playing in Worcester or Mansfield or Foxborough or wherever. But I can't even count how many times I saw the Black Crowes in those years after those albums came out. Those were my college years, and they were very formative years for me. So I want to thank everybody for my masks, which is awesome. Speaking of the artifact from the war room, I wanted to share something a little more like personal. I have been known to be somewhat of a hoarder. I kind of save everything. And it's not because I just like to hoard stuff. It's because I'm one of those people, as you guys very well know by now, because you've been hanging out with me for almost 50 days here in the war room, is that I have sentimental attachment to things, especially when I'm gifted things from other people, and I don't like to get rid of things. And so a lot of the mail, a lot of the letters and the postcards and the pictures that I got after 9/11 from the guys that got, and women obviously, but all the soldiers and the airmen and the Marines that I got from overseas after 9/11, I saved. And for a long time, I had a bulletin board up in my office with all of the pictures and, you know, I mean, I think you guys donated after the invasion of Baghdad. I think you guys donated 2,000 or 2,100 care packages worth of stuff that we packed up and sent overseas. And one of the things that we put in all those care packages, obviously, was Mantown calendars and WAF bumper stickers. And then we started getting all of these amazing pictures back, like actual photographs, not even digital email pictures, but actual photographs of guys that had their Mantown calendars or had their AF bumper stickers kind of plastered all over the place. We started getting a lot of mail, and I loved getting mail from overseas. And so one of the things that I saved is, I love the fact that it's like a cheesy tourist postcard, but it's greetings from Baghdad. So this is Route Irish. There was Baghdad International Airport. A lot of the places that I've shown you guys in my scrapbook are pictured in this. It kind of looks like I'm wearing a mask right now. Are pictured on this postcard. And I just wanted to read it. It says, greetings from Baghdad, Mistress Carrie. The Mantown calendars just arrived, and all of us in Baghdad wanted to thank you very much. Your commitment and support of the troops is greatly appreciated, and we can't wait to come home and listen to WAAF. We've stuck your bumper stickers all over our vehicles. Best wishes from all of us here in Iraq and everywhere else in the world, Lieutenant Carlson. So I don't know what his first name is. I don't even know if it's a woman. I don't even know if it's a man. It could be a woman. I don't know who Lieutenant Carlson is. I never found out, but I kept your postcard because it was little things like this that just the fact that you took the time out of your day to send it, it's just so grateful. And it's just one of the things that I just kind of have tucked away here in the War Room because it just means the world. So whoever Lieutenant Carlson is, probably not a lieutenant anymore because this is postmarked February of 2006. So maybe you're not a lieutenant anymore. If you are, you probably did some bad stuff. But Lieutenant Carlson, if you're out there, I kept your postcard. So thank you very much. I love it. And those are just the kind of things that are like tucked away on the shelves and filling up the drawers in here. And I have a ton of pictures of people with their Humvees and, writing property of Mistress Carrie on pieces of cardboard and wood. And I just have a ton of great stuff like that. And I love all of that stuff. So I wanted to show you guys, and that it just looks like a cheesy postcard that you would get, like greetings from Las Vegas, and then there's like the Vegas Strip and the Mirage and like whatever else, and it's like, no, this is Route Irish, and that's a blown up car, and Baghdad International Airport. Just cracks me up. So thought it was very cool. All right, gotta find ourselves a cocktail. That's the one thing I didn't pick out tonight. There's like 7 pages of margaritas, so we're going to have to figure out what kind of margarita we want to have on Cinco de Mayo. Just as a reminder, we're not going to do Temple Tuesday this week. Instead, we're going to do Mocktail Monday. So no booze on Monday. We're going to do mocktails to include everybody that hangs out with us in the War Room every night that doesn't drink, and support them in their recovery. And then on Tuesday, all of you that are partaking in booze can enjoy your margaritas on Cinco de Mayo. So, what's up, Collins? How are you crazy freak? All right. This one is called an aqueduct. And this is 3 ounces of vodka, a half an ounce of triple sec, a half an ounce of apricot brandy, which we don't get a lot in these recipes. There's no dairy and no eggs in this one. And a half an ounce of fresh lime juice. And it says, shake the ingredients, strain into a martini glass and serve. And that's called an aqueduct. So there you go. Weed Wednesday, Diva says. Ooh, watermelon margarita sounds really good. Love the Black Crow shirt. I have the best t-shirt collection, says Michael. I got some pretty good ones. The Black Crow shirts. I got to take a picture of this Black Crows poster that I have. That it's like the biggest poster I've ever seen. It's like 3 door, the door posters. I had one in my bedroom when I was in high school because it looked like John Bon Jovi was standing in my doorway. Can't even think about it. Anyway, this Black Crows poster is like 3 wide. It's just this massive mural of a poster, and it's just really, really cool. But I have so much Black Crow stuff. Just serve with blueberry cobbler, Eric says. Collins, they're still talking about the blueberry cobbler. It's amazing. Blueberry margarita, says Paula. That's good. Delicious. This limoncello is going down way too quick. Cocktails in the War Room might go off the rails tonight. Like, just heading straight straight and narrow, talking about the Murder Hornets, and then all of a sudden, Limoncello Ave, just to the right. Look out. Paul wants to know who is the coolest to hang with. What band, Paul? Is that what you're asking? I mean, that's really tough. I think you guys know by now, like, the bands that aren't just, you know, bands to me. I mean, if you want to talk about cool, like, what are you talking cool to hang out with? Just nice guys? Or are you talking about, like, knockdown, drag out, crazy rock and roll party hangout? I mean, if you're talking about nice guys, like true friends, like nice people, you know, you could talk Godsmack, Seven Dust, Shinedown, like guys like that. I mean, you know, when you listen to my show on AAF, like when certain people would call, you just be like, oh, that's so nice. You know, that they, just the friendly banter, you know. You want to talk partying? I mean, that's tough to top Pantera or Damage Plan. I mean, anytime Vinny and Dime were around, it was just ridiculous. And Seven Dust for a while, before those guys, you know, kind of figured out that maybe being healthy, you know, was going to help them with longevity of career, like back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you hit the guys from Seven Dust on a night, and it was a party for the ages. I mean, you've heard some of the stories, just such sweet guys. But we've talked about this in the past, like, there really aren't too many bands or celebrities or musicians or anybody that I ever met that wasn't incredibly nice to me. But then again, you know, you have to go through channels for the most part. If you're going to interview bands or whatever, you got to go to their management or you got to go to the record company, and it gets put. So when a band is out on tour, they get what's called a day sheet, because these guys, you know, every arena backstage pretty much looks the same. You know, it's concrete hallways, dressing rooms. It all really looks the same. So they have a day sheet in the tour bus, and they have a day sheet in their dressing rooms that literally tells them where they are, what time the show is, what time all the set times are, what time bus call is, which means what time the buses are rolling out of the venue after the show is over and all packed up, and then where they're headed to next, whether it be a day off or what city they're headed to. I mean, it's part of the tour manager's job is to have that itinerary there to keep the bands organized, because, you know, think about this. How long have you been locked up because of the coronavirus? A month? How many times have you wondered what day it was? These are bands that tour year after year after year. Their bus looks the same. The venues look the same. The cities are different. So on that call sheet is also all of the other things they have to do that day. Like if they have meet and greets with fans, they put down what time that is so that they can shower and not smell like shit. And then if they have interviews and stuff, so it would say like, you know, interview WAF Boston / Mistress Carrie 3:45. And so I would end up on, so they would know that they were getting ready to do an interview or whatever. And so there really wasn't any reason for the bands to just not be nice. So who is the most demanding band? I mean, by demanding, I don't really look at it that way. It's just more, I would call it structured. Like, if you're the guys from Dinosaur Pileup or Dirty Honey, and you're a new band touring on your first single off your first record, and you're the opener, you got to just be ready to ebb and flow with whatever the schedule is dictated by the headliner. But if you're a band like Metallica, whose crew spent 5 days loading in a multi-million-dollar production into Gillette Stadium, and you had to pull permits for noise and pyro, and it's $10,000 a minute or whatever the fine is of going over curfew because of noise from the town and the state, I wouldn't call it demanding if they're like, no, the interview can't start late, it needs to start on time. Like, they are just a machine that needs to be kept on time and on track at all times. So I don't look at that as being demanding. It's just they've got hundreds of people that are working. They are on a strict timeline to make sure that everything happens so that they end by curfew, because I'm not kidding. It's like $10,000 a minute if a band goes over on a big outdoor show like that, because the people around Foxborough, the noise, the pyro, and that day sheet, like, let's say they load out of Foxborough or they load out of the DCU Center or the Garden, and they've got to be, you know, someplace that's 7.5 hour drive away. Their truck drivers can only drive for so long. They've got to factor in traffic. Maybe they plotted out the route. Maybe they have to get on the other side of New York City before rush hour. So they can't afford to be off schedule, because it's like dominoes. It just derails everything else for the next day. Axl, you don't get to blame any of this on that. Just imagine, after what I just told you, what it cost Guns N' Roses in late fees because of curfews. And a lot of those venues like the Garden are union crews. So then you're paying these guys to sit around for hours, union scale, double time, whatever. Just crazy. So just imagine all the money Guns N' Roses wasted off of curfew violations. Just nuts. Let me see. You guys are all commenting on something that Lisa said. Saying that she wishes she was essential. I know, it's so hard that you're either working too much and you're essential and you're scared to get sick, or you're not working at all, or you're working from home and you just kind of want to go outside and you can't. Or you're not working whatsoever and you are checking your bank account every 5 minutes to see if the unemployment money arrived. It's just, there's just so much stress on either side. I told you guys about the only musicians that I really ever butted heads with at all. Scott Weiland and Dave Navarro were really the only ones. But other than that, everybody that I met, you know, they were at least professional and cordial and nice. And then obviously there's the guys that as soon as you walk in the room, just, you know, are screaming and hugging you and giving you big wet kisses. And, you know, Deborah says, I'm getting $2 an hour. I'm getting $2 more an hour because of hazard pay. Well, that's fantastic. Whoever your employer is, that's awesome that you are getting extra money to deal with the public or to put yourself in danger right now, which is, you know, that's awesome that you're making more money. So that's great. I just got back to work myself after a 28-day quarantine, says Nick. I hope you had a dog or somebody to keep you company, because 28-day quarantine is serious. Brianna says, Scott Stapp, you know, there are bands like Nickelback and Creed and Limp Bizkit that have become kind of the butt of a lot of jokes in rock and roll. I will tell you, Scott Stapp has never been anything but nice to me. We didn't get him on those crazy, drunken, battling mental illness nights. He was always incredibly gracious. I just interviewed him last year at the Wilbur, and he is so sober and just so comfortable in his own skin, apologetic for all of the things that he knows that he did that weren't right in the past. And, you know, was taking a lot of flack for it, and a lot of it rightfully so, because he was kind of a jerk to a lot of people for a long time and, you know, battled a lot of demons. And he, you know what? There's a guy that is really willing to talk openly about his struggles with mental illness and self-medicating that mental illness with alcohol. And, you know, you don't have to like the music. You don't have to, you know, whatever. But I don't really have anything bad to say about him. He was never anything but nice and sweet to me. Same thing with the rest of the guys, you know, from Alter Bridge, all of the remaining members of Creed. Same thing with Fred Durst, somebody just asked. He was always super cool to me, always really gracious, you know, really complimentary to WAAF, talking about what a taste-making station we were. You know, those guys got signed kind of out of like the Korn era, and we were one of the stations that helped to break Korn. And then Stained got signed by Fred Durst's label. And so, you know, Fred was always very aware of, you know, how important of a station WAAF was and how important the fan base in New England was. He was just always super cool, fun to hang out and party with. You know, I mean, if somebody were a real asshole, I would tell you, but they really just don't have any reason to be. It's, I think the biggest thing with WAF, not just me, but everybody at the radio station, is that we always went out of our way to really be accommodating with the bands. I mean, for me, you guys know that I used to be a roadie and I used to drive trucks. And so I know what it's like on the other side, where you're waking up in a different city every day and you're eating catered food, which is, a cold cut tray every day or cold pizza so I've always gone out of my way to make sure that not only the band was taken care of, but if they arrive with their tour manager and their guitar techs or their drum tech or whatever, to always make sure those guys had something to eat and make sure that they were comfortable. And if they needed a computer to sit down and get some work done and quiet or whatever, they would walk in the building and we would be like, here's an office for you to get some work done. Here's the coffee machine. Let us know if we can get anything for you. A lot of time we would have food waiting for them. We would have professional sound guys in the studio mixing the acoustic performances. So we always went out of our way to be incredibly professional. And the bands respected that so much that, the next time they came to town and saw WAF on their call sheet, they would go, oh yeah, those guys know what they're doing. No big deal, no problem. So same thing with Marilyn Manson. Have I ever told you guys, Jay, you asked about Marilyn Manson. I need you guys to answer the question so I don't repeat myself. Have I told you guys the Marilyn Manson dildo story? Anyone? If I told you, I won't repeat it. But it is one of my favorite rock and roll stories of all time. If I've told you the story, hold on, I'm going to get some limoncello ready. Just answer the question, have I told the Marilyn Manson dildo story? Will says no. Are you sure, Will? Because if you're going to get this story out of me right now, I want to make sure that I'm not being repetitive. Sarah says no. Jen says no. Laura says no. Okay. Have you seen Tommy Lee on TikTok? No, I haven't, Billy, but I will. Okay, Kitty, ML, Trish, you guys all say no that I haven't told the Marilyn Manson dildo story. Okay. Probably a good reason for that because it's hard to tell this story on the radio. I believe I told this story on the radio in a PG way, but I'll tell you guys like the unedited version now because we're on the internet and nobody can get me in trouble. Okay. I believe it was an Ozfest. You guys are going to have to do some quick Googling and look up the year that Disturbed and Marilyn Manson were on the same Ozfest in Mansfield at Great Woods, the Comcast Center, the Xfinity Center, the Tweeter Center, like whatever the frig they were calling it at the time. I'm telling you, Brianna, this is the Marilyn Manson story. Whatever year Ozfest had Marilyn Manson and Disturbed on it. So I'm thinking early 2000s, maybe. I think we'd remember, says Stacy. No, but I want to hear it, says Michelle. Okay. So when we would go to broadcast live from Ozfest, we would be the presenting station. So they would set up a broadcast backstage at the Xfinity Center. 99 maybe, says Steve. I don't know. You guys figure it out. I'll tell you the story and you put it up in the comments when you think that Ozfest one. I think it was 2000, 2001. Anyway, we would set up a broadcast backstage and we would be there all day broadcasting. And so what we would do on a show like that is we would make a list of all of the bands that we were playing to make sure that we could set up interviews with all of those bands. Then we would have to call all the bands, record companies, and managers and say, okay, we want to, this is when our broadcast is going to start. This is where we're going to be. We want to set up interviews or whatever. Can you put it on the band's, sheet for the day? And then we would always ask each band for a couple of passes because on a day like Ozfest, I mean, just think about it. We had all of the street team guys with the vans, with the bumper stickers. We had engineers for the live broadcast itself. There would be producers and promotion people that would be running around. Remember like the Wizard of Ozfest contest? So we had to have promotions people there to wrangle winners for the different meet and greets and the different prizes. And then we would have the shows broadcasting with the producers and all of the staff. So we would go to all of the different bands and say, hey, can you get us a staff pass or two so that we have enough passes from all the bands that we were going to be talking to that day to cover all of our staff. So the bands get these, like, they have their tour laminates, like, you know, Wayne and Garth backstage at Alice Cooper in Milwaukee, which are the laminates that are good for the whole tour. Otherwise, you get the sticky passes, and they're only good for that one show in that one city. And then they say after show only, VIP, all access, working crew, like whatever. So we would always ask for working passes because that meant that we were working. So we could go where the techs could go and kind of all that stuff. So I had an interview with Marilyn Manson, and it was going to be on his tour bus. And we were going to pre-record the interview. No cameras were allowed. So I was just bringing a recorder onto his tour bus. That's where he wanted to do the interview. And I was like, fine, no problem. I like interviewing the bands on their tour bus because that's their home. So a lot of the times the bands are comfortable there. Plus, it's also kind of cool to see how the bands live. It's really interesting to see what's in their refrigerators and what's in their cabinets. And you get to meet the bus driver and some of the crew guys. And, you know, it's like when you go to visit somebody at their home, you just kind of get a better sense of who they are as people. Joe says it was 2002 or 2001. Steven says, I don't know. You guys argue it amongst yourselves. Anyway, so me and our promotions guy, Adam, at the specific time, we went to Marilyn Manson's tour bus. And on those Ozfest tours, they were just buses everywhere. So we go over to the bus. We knock on the door, and this giant dude comes out of the bus, and he's Manson's security guard, and his name was Smitty. And I knew Smitty because he was from Boston, and he used to work security at a bunch of different clubs. And, you know, you get to know when you work for a radio station or you're in a band or whatever, you get to know the door people and the security people at all of the different clubs. And he was like, Mistress Carrie, what are you doing? And I was like, Smitty, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm out with him. So I was like, no way. And so he's like, listen, I just got to let you know that, you know, he keeps me on a really strict schedule. You've got 10 minutes with him. Let me know when you're ready. I'm going to put you up on the bus. He's right there in the front lounge. So if you've never been on a tour bus, pardon me if, you know all of this stuff already, but so you climb up the stairs of the tour bus, and the driver is right there in front of you. And you take a left, and there's usually a front lounge, which is kind of where the kitchen is, and there's some couches, and there's a TV. And then you go through the kitchen, and then the bathroom is usually as part of the hall, and then you go through a curtain, and then all of the bunks are there. So depending on if it's a band bus or if it's a crew bus, sometimes there's only 2 bunks, sometimes there's 3 bunks. Some buses hold 12 people, some buses only hold 6 people, it just depends. And then usually in the back of the bus is what they call the back lounge. Now, some people, like if you're, you know, a rock star that has their own bus, the back lounge is actually the master bedroom. And then sometimes, you know, you'll have bunks for your kids, and you and your wife or whoever can sleep in the back, and the kids sleep there and whatever. It depends. All the buses kind of are different depending on who's in them. So Smitty says he's in the front lounge. So I know as soon as I go up the stairs past where the driver's seat is and open the curtain, he's going to be right there. So I'm like, okay, no problem. He said, how long does it take you to set up your stuff? And I was like, 30 seconds, a minute at the most. I had a little recorder, a little microphone, no big deal. So me and Adam, who's a big guy, walk up the stairs and walk through the curtain and into the front lounge of the bus. And there's 2 people in the front lounge. Manson, who's standing in the aisle doing something that I will explain to you in a moment. And then there's Dita Von Teese, who was his wife at the time, sitting at like what is the kitchen table. So you know when you go into a camper, there's like a booth and you can lower the table and make a bed out of it. Well, they have those in the front lounge too, and that's like the kitchen table. So Dita Von Teese is sitting there, and she's eating out of a styrofoam to-go container. She turns around and looks at me and Adam, and our passes had been given to us by Disturbed. That's how I know that it was the year that Disturbed and Manson were on the same Ozfest. And she questioned Smitty as to whether or not Adam and I should have been allowed on the bus because our passes came from Disturbed, not Manson. And Adam and I were like, well, we have an interview, and she's eating French fries or just whatever. But what was really interesting was what Manson was doing. Now, he's a tall guy. Never mind the giant platform shoes he was wearing, okay? And he's an intimidating figure. Super nice, but he's weird, as you would expect Marilyn Manson to be. So there's something on the TV. So this front lounge, they always have a giant TV, and it's one of the places where the bands play video games and watch movies or whatever. And it's this grainy, black and white, kind of Blair Witch Project imagery on the screen. And it was really weird, and it was rustling around, and it was just like you're trying to focus, and it's just like this, and you're like, what is going on? And all of a sudden, Dita pops up and says, honey, why do you have to show everybody how hairy you are? And Manson turns around, and he's got his hands down his pants. And all of a sudden, he pulls this giant clear plastic dildo out of his pants. And now my brain, because I'm on a timer from Smitty, I got 10 minutes. So I'm trying to get my microphone set up, but the Blair Witch Project stuff is going on up on the TV. Manson turns around. Now just picture this. It's a giant, clear, hard plastic. So it's not jiggling like a dildo. This is like a hard dildo. It's clear plastic. And it's got wires coming out of the balls. It's the internet. I can say balls. It's got wires coming out of the balls that are connected to the television through like RCA cables. Like you hook up your freaking Blu-ray player. And it's got a light on the tip. And I realized that this is in fact a live video feed from the underside of Marilyn Manson's ball sack. That's what I was watching on this 32-inch high-def screen. And I'm standing there going, just as, like, you know me, I'm not someone that is at a lack of words. I can find something to say at any given time, and I'm like this. Without missing a beat, Manson pulls the dildo out of his pants and puts it so the camera in the pee hole of the dildo puts it on his nostril. So now I'm looking at his nostrils on this giant flat screen, and his nostril hairs are like this long. And he goes, I just want to see where all my money goes. I look at Adam and I'm like, I mean, we work at WAF. Like, it takes a lot to make us go, huh? Just as he does that, he puts the camera on his ear. I've seen so many of the open orifices of Marilyn Manson's head than I ever imagined I would ever see. Now I'm looking at his ear canal and his ear hairs. Now try and imagine me trying to tell this story on the radio with the FCC regulations. Laura, what the holy hell? You have no idea, right? He goes like this, and now I'm just laughing because I know that my stopwatch of 10 minutes is ticking. And I'm like, this motherfucker is trying to waste all my interview time. So he literally, without skipping a beat, takes the dildo from the dildo cam. He wasn't putting the dildo in his ear, just the cam. Takes it like this and looks at me. The first thing he says to me and goes, you? I got to give him credit. That shit was funny. I am now dying laughing. And I go, no, I'm good. And I'm just laughing. Adam's laughing. Dita's just eating French fries. So then he literally, I guess it had a power button because he turned it off. He put it on the table where Dita was eating her dinner after it was just under his undercarriage, puts it on the table, literally 2 seconds. He went from having a dildo underneath his ball sack with a camera to his nose, which I guess it's your own balls, so you don't care about putting it on your own face. Definitely not in the coronavirus face touching. Puts the dildo down, sits down on the couch in the front lounge and goes, so what do you want to talk about? And I am scrambling to get the microphone plugged in because I'm like, this shit is bananas. So then what is happening, Tammy says? Do you get it now? Like, you guys want to talk about going to Home Depot without a mask? I put my life on the line getting in a tour bus with Marilyn Manson. And then he sat down and talked to me like we were old friends for like the 7 minutes I had left. Super sweet, super nice, hilarious. And then when the 10 minutes were over, Smitty moved the curtain and was like, "Mistress, it's time to go." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." Said thank you to Mr. Manson, said thank you to his blushing bride, looked at Adam, packed up the recorder, walked off the bus, and we literally couldn't stop laughing all the way back to the Rock bus. We get back there, and everybody's hanging out, all the street team guys, all the other DJs, whatever. We're like, you guys, let me tell you this. That was one of those times where if I had gotten sent to do that interview alone, no one would have believed me. But Adam from our promotions department will literally tell you the exact same story, word for word, and corroborate. I had a witness. Thank God Adam was there, because otherwise people would be like, that didn't happen. So I had the opportunity years later to talk to Mr. Manson on the phone. And just so that you guys don't think that I would skirt around the topic, I said, "Hey, Marilyn, thank you for calling. Last time I saw you, I was looking at the underside of your sack at Ozfest." And he just started laughing because he knew exactly what I was talking about. So there you go. That's the Marilyn Manson dildo story. Dildo sound effects are amazing. Keep them up. It's seriously one of my favorite stories, because if someone tried to just write that story, like if they were just writing a movie about a fictitious rock star, they would go, no. We'll make it about green M&Ms or something. No, there would never be a dildo with a camera on the end and a power switch in the ball sack. Like, strike me dead. That story is exactly as it happened. And it is one of the funniest things. So when you look back, like when you guys look at the people that like if you have a job that you've had for a while, or you've got a coworker that you've worked with for years, a coworker that, isn't just somebody you see at work, but somebody, where you went to their wedding, someone whose family that you've met their parents, you know their kids, you've been to their house for barbecues. That's how Adam is for me still to this day. And there are so many of us like that at WAF that we worked together for years and years and years. And we're real family. And when we get together, these stories come up. So like, when you get around the Thanksgiving dinner table with your family and you talk about, oh, remember so-and-so, how cute she was, and she used to, swing on the swings in the backyard. We all get together and we're like, oh my God, remember Manson that time at Ozfest with the dildo? That just shows you the kind of work environment and the twisted ass family that I had for 29 years at WAF, and why I miss it so much. So there you go. I'm going to cheers to the dildo, because I've Googled that friggin' dildo because I thought it was hilarious and I haven't been able to find one. So if you guys can get past your corporate firewall on your company laptop and you can go Googling dildo cams, put the links up there, because I'm sure somebody's going to want one, and just do a friend a solid and put it in the comments. Jared said, that was better than the Mr. Bag story with your mom. Remember Manson's ball sack? Exactly, Steve. That's what those barbecues are like. Dildos have never been discussed at my family's Thanksgiving, says Brianna. Well, if you worked at WAAF, you would not be able to say that statement without being a liar, because everybody at WAAF has probably talked about dildos at Thanksgiving. We call it working. So there you go. I can't believe you guys don't know that story. I know I've told that story on the air, but it's hard to tell that story. Pardon the pun. And Annie Ann says, yes, cheers to dildos. But it's hard to tell that story on the air because you got to dumb it down. And it's like, oh, I forgot to tell you the best part. Manson pulls the dildo out of his pants before he put it to his nostril, before he put it to his ear, before he tried to hand it to me. And he goes, I call this my Blair Dick Project. Put it down his pants. The Blair Witch Project? That's why I brought it up, because that's what it looked like. He was calling it his Blair Dick Project. Put it back down his pants. Hashtag Blair Dick Project. You're welcome. I'm telling you, there's no way I'm the only person that was subjected to the Blair Dick Project on that Ozfest. There's got to be someone else, some other band, like somebody that was exposed to the Blair Dick Project. The story is the bomb, says Steven. She said hard. I can't believe I forgot. That's like the best part of the story, that he called it the Blair Dick Project. I can't believe I forgot to tell you that. All right, before I get out of here, guys, we got to celebrate birthdays. Where are the birthdays today? Hold on. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is a good one. I got to fill up for this one. There are certain names that I just take joy in saying. This is one of those names. So as we do every night here in the War Room, if you're celebrating your birthday alone, in quarantine, whatever, social distancing, we always want to make sure that we're paying tribute to everybody who's celebrating a birthday at home. So if today is your birthday, happy birthday. You celebrate your birthday today with Lou Graham, Leslie Gore, and Engelbert Humperdinck. Perfect following a dildo story. You just can't make this shit up. So happy birthday to you and Engelbert Humperdinck. Cheers. Hashtag Blair Dick Project, says Sarah. Now I know why my live video only got 5 viewers. I didn't bring up dildos. Dildos work, man. What do you want me to tell you? The bottle must be almost empty. Nope. Not even close. Plenty of limoncello to go around. Let's see. All right, one more cheers. Cheers to Engelbert Humperdinck. Cheers to the Dildo Cam and the Blair Dick Project. Cheers if it's your birthday. And the biggest cheers to all of our veterans, to SEAL Team 6, to Cairo the K9, and everybody on this incredibly important anniversary. And to Naked World Gardening Day. So cheers to you guys. I hope you didn't get bug bites in weird places. You be been drinking. Yeah, you're right. Tonight, it's Saturday. Although it doesn't really matter. Every night is the same. But I'm in a good mood. So I hope you guys had a good day. I hope you guys are feeling okay. I hope the sun and the good weather kind of helped you guys out, put you in a good mood. Tomorrow's going to be even more beautiful. So if you didn't get a chance to get outside today, please do that tomorrow. Get in the sun. Remember what's important, and remember that you're loved. Remember that everything is going to be okay, but we got to stick together and we got to be there for each other to make it happen. So if you can lend help, offer it. And if you need help, ask for it, because you know you've got a family here every night at 8:30 here in the War Room. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me. Don't cheers to the murder hornets, Danielle. We don't want to cheers to those freaking crazies. If you're going to look up 2 things tonight, scratch that, 3 things. Look up the mountain deadlifting 1,104 pounds. Look up the murder hornets and dildo cams. That's your homework. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Don't lick anything weird. Wash your damn hands. I love you guys. Stay safe and remember that you're loved. I'll see you tomorrow.